is an incredibly big city. It's huge. It goes on forever. It's from where the school is to go downtown. It's 35 kilometers. So it's a big cycle ride. I cycle twice a week to school, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the landscape changing. And I just love the variety in Shanghai.
So I was really excited when I knew that we were coming to Shanghai because, I mean, as an international teacher, it's really important that your school chimes with you, but equally we were really excited about the chance to go somewhere that was not only a great city to live in, but a global city to live in. I mean, there's no bigger city in China than Shanghai. It's a great opportunity to experience myriad different foods and to see a different way of life. We've lived in other cities around the world. We've lived in London, we've lived down in New Zealand, and it's great to try a new pace of living.
I've been living in China for 5 years, and there's a lot of misconceptions in China about pollution, about traffic. But if you come to Ningbo, it's actually surprisingly calm, and there's a lot of nature in Zhejiang province where you can climb mountains, go kayaking, and as a PE teacher, that was what I was looking for, and that's why I came to Ningbo.
Ningbo is a smaller city than I guess I originally expected to arrive in China. When we hear all the reports in China about at home about China, we think that the cities are going to be really massive. And what's really good about Ningbo is that it's smaller than Shanghai and Beijing, and that means that everything we need is within close proximity. What's better than that is that there's also a good metro system here, so we can access anything we want within minutes.
I have been living in Ningbo for 3 years, and Ningbo is a really clean and safe place. All the local people here are very friendly, and I've made lots of friends here.
School gives us a wonderful, generous housing allowance, so we can have whatever we need, any kind of flat. Of course, if you want something special, you can put an extra, but the allowance is quite generous, so you can have a flat easily. They also help you to find a flat when you arrive. They help you to go through the paperwork. It's really, really easy, and it's quite wonderful.
There's plenty of accommodation close by school. If you choose to live a little bit closer to downtown, then that's a possibility as well. But downtown, of course, it does cost a little bit more. The closer you get to downtown, the more expensive houses are.
One of the most difficult things when I first moved to China was learning the language. I remember just looking around and seeing Chinese characters everywhere as soon as I stepped off the plane. And it was my first time really with any experience with a language that didn't use an alphabet like English does. And so just seeing the characters everywhere at first gave me a little bit of a headache. But thankfully, everyone was very accommodating, and there were a lot of English speakers here in Shanghai where I lived. So I was able to get things figured out and start to learn Chinese little by little. And you know, one of the things about learning Chinese is at first it can seem like a daunting task with tones and with characters and trying to figure out how to use these to communicate. But thankfully, using a Chinese tutor and help, I was able to reach a point where I can communicate clearly to do things like order food and use a taxi and just generally navigate myself through the city.
So when I first came to China, I spoke barely any Chinese beyond the ability to point at things and say that I wanted them. And it's so challenging when you first come here. No matter how many European languages you know, Chinese is in a whole different league of difficulty. I made so many mistakes and I've had so many people laugh at me, but half of the fun of living here is going out there and yelling out the few words of Chinese that you know and hoping for the best to happen. And so far I haven't gone wrong. We haven't taken any taxis to the wrong place. We haven't made anyone too upset. We've really had a good time. There are opportunities to practice, obviously, and if you are looking to learn new languages, there's no better place than to immerse yourself in China and Chinese culture and really get going. There's nothing scarier and there's nothing more educational.
About the transportation plan in China is amazing. If you think like Shanghai has 24 million, could be a chaotic in terms of rush hour and this kind of stuff. But actually, they have a massive, amazing subway with 17 lines. When I arrived here in 2008, they have 6 lines. Right now, they have 70 lines that take you everywhere. Connect with trains, with airports. You can go from one airport to the other airport for practically, 9 kwan's. Very cheap. They have also the high-speed train that is also amazing, the maglev. When I arrived again in 2009, we went to Beijing. It took us 12 hours to get there. Right now, it's almost 5 hours to get to Beijing, so you can go everywhere, cheap, on time.
Shanghai occupies a massive space. This metro system that Chloe talks about is pretty all-encompassing. Taxis are inexpensive and plentiful, no problem there at all. And if you decide to fly somewhere, Shanghai is a wonderful hub for going to Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Japan, wherever you decide to go in Asia. It's a very good centre, good base for your exploration.
HD School is in Shanghai is a school that is bilingual. This means that the students are predominantly Chinese students, but they have a bilingual curriculum. And what this means is that approximately half the subjects are taught in Chinese by Chinese, and the other half are taught in English by English-speaking teachers. So, for example, Chinese curriculum will include Chinese language, it will include Chinese arts and Chinese culture. The English curriculum will include English as a subject, but also science, design and technology. So there is a real blend of the two languages coming together to make a real bilingual school. The other aspect of the school is that there are Chinese and English teachers working together, which gives a real interesting mix of different teaching and learning styles.
The school is also a very vibrant community. As a new community, we are growing both in number but also in expertise and also knowledge of the kind of culture that we want to build here at HD, a culture of high standards, a culture of creative learning and a culture of collaboration both between the teachers, the teaching staff, both international and Chinese, but also amongst the children, and also working very closely with our parents who are extremely supportive and a very important part of our extended community.
The school offers trips that the teachers can go on together, the local Chinese teachers and the international teachers. They, I know recently just went on a trip to some mountain, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a glass walkway that they went and walked across.
HD School is a great school, lots of facilities, and I'm actually the music teacher here, so we have lots of instruments and everything that we need. We have our own gym, which is good. We can exercise. We have a swimming pool. The scenery is really nice, so a nice atmosphere here.
My first couple of years that I worked here, I worked at a training center, which is completely different than teaching. And after that, I moved on to an international school, and then finally to HD. At HD, I like it because it's not just a workplace. We're all family here. The people that I work with, we hang out not only at school, after school, holidays. I just got back from Thailand with 2 coworkers, both a Chinese and a foreign girl that I work with. So it's great because we all kind of connect and become one. You learn everything about people, you learn everything about each other, what makes you mad, what makes you sad, what makes you happy, and you all kind of connect because you're here in a different country. You connect to help each other, so it's great.
One of the main worries for people that come to a foreign country to live is that they're coming by themselves, and I think what you need to remember is that everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's coming by themselves, everyone's in the same boat, and everyone has the same worries. Now, what I've experienced here is that the community is really good, and that there are colleagues that are going to support you. There are lots of social activities in Ningbo, being a small expat community. So if you're worried about making friends, there are friends already here for you. Also, there's going to be other new teachers that will be in the same boat. Also, being a small expat community, there are people in the community that are looking for other Western people to befriend. But what I've found here is that a lot of my colleagues have become my close friends. And we have a small football community that we play with on campus, which also involves the parents. So we've now formed a HD Ningbo football team, which involves teachers and parents working together and playing together, and we play against other teams on a Saturday, other Chinese teams, but we also play against the other HD school in a competitive way. So that's been a really nice community building activity, because we then can go out for drinks and for food with my colleagues and the parents as well, which has been really nice. Other teachers have got involved in yoga. There are yoga activities here where they all do it together. There are things like expat food groups where people meet up and cook together. There's obviously other sports groups running. We just recently had a pink run here on campus where all the teachers ran with the children and did some running. So if you're interested in sports and other social things, I think Ningbo is a really good city, because it's small enough to unite people, but big enough so that there's things to do.